Hey, everyone. That'll make it a little better. Hey, everybody. David Pease here, broadcasting from Studio Squim. Or am I at CTU, the Los Angeles branch, at my desk here? Either way, I am excited to do a box opening for 24 the game. Now, I was a big fan of this show when it was on. And when I found out there was a game for it, I had to check it out. That'll help a little bit with that echo too. So when I found out there was a game, I was at first very excited and checked it out. I was able to get a starter kit for a very reasonable price over the internet. So I thought, why not? It got that basic training kit and opened it up, and I got pretty excited about the game. We got this, comes with a couple play mats, and the cards you see here is just a small sample of what comes with the game. It comes with 2 pre-constructed decks of 24 cards, and I believe anyway, that's not what we're all about. I'm not here to do a gameplay. I'm here to open these boosters. Now there are a couple cards that I am a little excited about, so I'm going to bring those in here real quick. These are some of the rare cards that I am looking for when we open this up. These ones over here on the far left, interesting cards because they represent a bit of a strategy. Couple of them do their best or enhance their skills when your opponent has no time, which is having time is used as currency. You exchange time to pay for cards to bring them into play or for specific actions that you want to do, which is great. It's on theme. It takes time to do the things that you want to do. So that's a great little way to explain it. But a couple of these also support that. They take time away from your opponent. These the 2 characters with the red band at the top there, those are the characters whose skills are enhanced when your opponent has no time. And then the 3 cards surrounding it are ones that actually take away time from your opponent. Then in the middle here, if you're a fan of Studio Squim, you've seen me play games. What I like most is access to my deck. And these 3 cards in this first edition give me a little bit of access to my deck. So I'm looking for those 3 as well. And then, of course, on the far right is the card Damn It. Now, if you're a fan of the show, you know that that phrase was used quite often on the show, just saying damn it all the time. So the game effect doesn't really give you a whole lot, but I just want the card for just so I can have it and say damn it. What makes me laugh about that card most is I heard a story third hand, but I heard a story about college kids when they were watching the show made a drinking game where every time Jack Bauer said the word damn it, you had to take a drink. Well, Kiefer Sutherland heard about this somehow through the internet, Twitter, or however, and during one of the episodes, he deliberately ad-libbed the word damn it multiple times, way more than the script called for, specifically to get this game, get the drinking game, get these kids just wiped out. And I think that's a great story. It's really funny. So having that card would be a lot of fun. So I'm hoping I find that in this box here. As you can tell from the description, let me very quickly check that out. I did put in, what how the cards are distributed. There's quite a few commons, few uncommons, and then a rare in there. I want to, and as we go through, 1 in 8 has a either a parallel foil that has alternate art, or what they call. Let me switch my thing here so you can see these. What collectors would term ultra rare, but the game calls elite. These are all black. They don't have the different colors that designate what the card is in the regular game, whereas CTU characters have blue background. The terrorists have kind of a reddish background, and equipment has gray, so on and so forth. These ones are all black. So they just look really cool. The only card I really want out of this one is the one on the far right, the George Mason. He is, I think this card is kind of funny. He's an analyst, and you can see his subtitle there, hates his job. So I guess I kind of relate to being an analyst who hates his job. Anyway, back to the game. So those are kind of some of the cards that I'm hoping I'll run into. These elites, these ultra rares, we'll see. I have a good chance to get 2, possibly 3 in this box. So without further ado, let's switch our cameras here and focus specifically. See if we can get the table here. Wrong way. I want to. You can see that tabletop a little better. Well, we'll go with this. Right. Oh, Yost is here. Hey, Yost, thanks for joining me. Yeah, the Human Shield card. If you're in the Discord for the X-Files CCG that we have going, we are making fan-made cards, and Yost wanted to make one called the Human Shield, and I noticed one is in the 24 series of cards here that we're going to go through, and I did a quick search and found that there's a Human Shield card in almost every CCG game, so we'll see. I'm going to bring that up there. So hopefully I can get the Human Shield card too, just for the fact that it will make a complete set for me there. Let's see. Yeah, that's not working. So we're just going to forge ahead with the screen split in half like this. Let's get started. This game came out in 2006, if I remember correctly, so not as old as some of the other cards and packs that I've opened, but we'll still kind of a vintage here. Give these guys some air. Yost joining us from Europe, so this late in the or this early in the morning here in Pacific time, Yost is joining us in the afternoon. Thanks again for joining us here, commenting. Push these up a little further so they're not quite on camera. Quite taking up the whole space here. And let's get started. That is very obnoxious. That camera situation is going to bug me. But let's see if I can get that. Okay. Moving along. Here we go. Enough talk. Yost is asking as I'm fiddling with this here, have I ever played the game? I have not. I did get that basic training, which is the starter kit. I have not actually played the game myself just yet. There are a few people who are interested in the game who want to play. We just haven't found the time to play it just yet. So I'm going to hold this. Ooh. There it is. Turncoat. This is one of the agenda cards here, and you can see the time around the edges. Kind of a fun one. You pay, or in this case, it's free, but you would put this on your briefing room or in the field, starting with the most time. And as each turn goes, you rotate it until you get to 0. In this case, it's just 1 and then 0. So it's a pretty quick one, but kind of fun, and a theme with the game here to have an agenda out here that takes time. Some of these have 2 and 3, and you have to keep rotating it and after each turn to get it to go. But there's Turncoat. And retaliation. Oops. These cards are kind of sliding around here, but there. Ted Kofel. I have not seen the show in a while. I'm going to do a rewatch after I finish watching 11 seasons of the X-Files. So there we go. I'll just kind of breeze through these and stop if I see one that's good. There's a foil card, so that's my rare. Chase Edmonds. Here's a cool card here. These ones, you grab one of these at the beginning of the game, your directive, and it gives you a bonus throughout the game and can sometimes determine how you build your deck. And that would, on the play mat, that would just go right here, and it'll sit there on the side, and you take advantage of it as things go. So here is insertion. Kyle Singer. This is a great learning experience for me to do a little better with my camera. Oh, look, there's oops. Your opponent loses 2 times. So that's one that I wanted to get. So I'll set that to the side. That's awesome. That's one off my checklist. That's great. Rachel Forrester. And then field medicine, another agenda you can see here. This one's got 2 hours on it. So then you would activate that agenda's effect after 2 turns. So that's kind of cool. So, hey, not bad first booster, and I already got one that I was looking for. So that's awesome. Get this one over here. That's one thing I like about this game. Some of the games from this era or before, more to be more specific, had chase cards, but the only thing that made them chase cards was the rarity. Whether you got 1 per pack, ultra rares, 2 per box, that kind of thing. Later on, the technology kind of caught up with the idea of these chase cards. Here's Lee McGill. And you may not see the description here, so pausing it to see what the card does. Maybe I may not have done the best job with that, but there is a link in the description. Tooth and Claw, one of the worst subplots in the show in season 2, really kind of lost some respect for Kim Bauer in that one. The first season, she was such a badass, and then in the second season, she seemed like kind of a goofball. Charles McLemore, pacifist stance, going into shock. Target wounded character gets -2 skill. Ouch, that would be a rough one. There's Chase Edmonds again. Same directive, that's a bummer. Insertion. There's another oops. Well, my wish is granted. A lot of the same cards in this one as the previous pack, but there's field medicine. That's another agenda with 2 on the clock there. Let's keep going. I would ask Yost, since you tuned in, have you played this game, or are you familiar with it at all? If you have interest in it, let me know. because I would love to get these cards out on the table. Let's get this up here. Another directive there. Alan Morgan. Interesting. Resisting interrogation. Target agent or terrorist gets +2 combat for each of his wounds. That could be helpful. I noticed though a lot of these agents have only 1 health. I mean, they can take 1 hit and then they're out. There's the rare all-nighter directive there, and it's hard to see actually. Well, you can kind of see it's the prismatic foil, so that's kind of fun. Another agenda. Where was I? Oh, I had mentioned the rarity. Early games didn't have foils and that kind of stuff, but at least these guys have foils in the elite rares, which makes them kind of fun. Yost, let's hope the collation isn't as bad as X-Files premiere. That collation is legendary. For those who aren't familiar, they had some serious issues which made with collation, and it made it so even the starter decks were almost impossible to play a real game. And you get the boosters, and you would get large groupings of X-File cards, which, if you're not familiar with the game, sounds great, right? Oh, there's an equipment, armored van. This character gets +2 skill while defending, not bad. Sounds great at first if you're not familiar with the game, but the X-Files cards only have 1 purpose, and you only need 1 per game. So if you got a whole bunch of them in a booster, you essentially had nothing playable. They did correct that in a reissue, and unfortunately, that left a sour taste in the mouth of some people, including myself. I am a big fan of the X-Files. Watched the show, collected the non-sports trading cards that featured the show. Picked up a starter kit. My wife at the time and I each picked up a starter deck, and couldn't even figure the game out. We didn't understand what exactly was happening. CCGs were kind of new on the scene at that time, back in '96. So I ended up not playing, ironically, until just 2 years ago, and now I'm totally into it. So yeah, the collation seems to be pretty good. There's another directive. Insertion, yeah, now we're seeing, oh, there's another, oops. Here I made such a big deal out of that in the introduction, and I already have 3 of them. Rachel Forrester, field medicine, firewall bypass, discard an ops event, target character gets +2 intel, not bad. As we go through these characters have skills on the side. Now there's 3 main ones. There's combat, political, and intel, and you can theme your deck around those skills, and then the events and other things can help enhance that. So that kind of helps with deck building. Let's get this up here. Phone tap, that happened all the time in the show. There's Chase Edmonds. Again, I'm kind of going through these, and my camera is not at the optimal angle for this kind of thing. So if you're looking to see some of the different effects that these guys have, and it doesn't pop up or is not easily readable on screen if you pause it, there is a link in the description to CCG Trader. You can go through and find all the 24 cards, have the photos and descriptions in there. So if you have one in particular that you want to see, or go through and try to find one that you're looking for, if you go there, you can get a close-up view of the cards. Again, I wish this function of making one camera the focus worked better. For some reason, I'm not able to do that, but I'm going to give it another try here, just because I want to. But no. There it goes to that function. That's a little better. So what do we have here? Police cruiser. This character can support while in the field. Very nice. Ooh, there you are. Filibuster. And Mashir Abu was Marzouk. Again, I haven't watched the show in a while, so I may get some of these pronunciations incorrect. But that's another thing on my to-do list is to watch 24 right after I'm done with the X-Files here. So let's get this back going. Haven't run into an elite yet. I'm hoping. There's the card back with the 24 logo. Chloe O'Brien, there's an important character. Exhausted. Navi Arad. Sniper rifle. Play only on a character with lethal. Wound a target character in the field. Okay, not too bad. There we go. Frontal assault, there's my rare. And again, just the parallel with the foil. So that's kind of cool. Here's airlift. Move any of your target characters from the field into the briefing room. Brings back memories of playing the X-Files CCG in my travel deck. That would have been helpful. And there is a card called Airlift in the new season 4, the fan-made season 4, the X-Files cards, and I'm looking forward to adding that in there. Authored by my good friend Steven Arvidsson. You can see me do a deck opening of that later this week. You'll find it on my channel. There's Jack Bauer, the chief protagonist there. Shredding program. Upside down. Likely voters. Behind in the polls, this character gets +1 skill. He has an additional +1 politics if you have fewer points than your opponent, referring to the win condition of the game, getting 24 points each time you fulfill a mission by besting your opponent with your skill. You get a point, and then there's other cards, events, and agendas that will also earn you points. There's Kim Bauer in the card switch. All right, let's move on to the next one. Hoping to get a community together around the 24 trading card game. Like I mentioned earlier, we have 3 or 4 people who are interested. Some of them have the cards, others looking to get into it. Hopefully a Discord will come soon, and hopefully we'll be able to find some of the game designers and interview them and just see if we can get some behind the scenes stories. This game did have some big plans ahead of it before it got canceled. There were several expansions that were planned but didn't make it to fruition. All that was released were the basic training, which is essentially the starter kit, and there was a set called Day Zero, and what those were starter kits without the playmat, and the basic training comes with this nice rule book, which I don't have handy, but a nice full color rule book, a nice large print. But the Day Zero packs, they come in a foil pack like this, a little bit thicker, and has a rule book that's more card sized and not as illustrated and that sort of thing. There's cards in there that are exclusive to that as well. And then along with basic training and the Day Zero, then there's these first edition, and didn't get beyond that. But it's my understanding that there was at least one other expansion that was in the works. And hopefully we can find, here's another directive, world order. Hopefully we can find those people and just kind of see where the game was, what they had in mind, what may have been planned in the future. Maybe get some behind the scenes stories from them as well. See if there's anything fun that happened. Okay, where are we? Marcus Alvarez. Oh, almost lost it there. Frontal assault. Target attacking character gets +2 skill. This mission scores 2 fewer points. Yikes. That's a good one to use against your opponent. Ryan Chappelle. Last Hope. Field support. Set an analyst, which means if you have an analyst in your briefing room or the field in this upright position means that they are ready. And once you've used their, if they have a game effect in there, after you do that game effect, you turn them to the side, which is called set. And then you can use that action also as some of these cards. Like this one costs 0, but you set an analyst, which means you can't use them later on in your turn. There are other cards that return them to the ready position, so that's something to think about. One thing I do know about this game, unfortunately, the restriction on your deck is to 24, which is great. It's on theme, but really restricts your deck building abilities. So I was a bit bummed by that, and that's a question I would bring to the game designers. Oh, that one went. Could the game be played with more cards than just 24? Would that upset the balance? And how could we get that back into balance? Deck building games, so having more cards and better variety certainly makes the game more interesting. That was a comment I saw on Board Game Geek in their forums for this game, was that it seems odd that a character would take, like in this case, Wayne Palmer would take 2 hits and be, according to the game semantics, would be killed, and you put him in a discard pile. But once you've gone through 24 of your cards, you just shuffle your discard pile and put them back, and hey, a character that was killed is suddenly back in the game. So it's a little odd. There's Tooth and Claw again. Oh my gosh. Torture. Airtight Alibi. Target defending infiltrator gets +2 intelligence. That's cool. Incriminating evidence. New information. Decoy. Yikes, that guy's on fire. That must hurt. Target terrorist gets +1 combat. Then, of course, the flavor text there. Damn it. Put the blanket on him. So there's take a drink if you're playing the drinking game here. New opportunity, overconfidence, and pressure. Oh, here we go. Set a conspirator. Your opponent loses 1 time. Another one I'm going to set aside with, oops, I didn't see that one when I was going through the list of cards. So that's another one that'll take time away from your opponent. That'll help in my strategy. Hopefully I'm not giving away too much. Any future opponents will know what I'm going to be trying to do there. Ira Gaines there, I remember this guy. Watched a few episodes from season 1 the other day just to get myself back into the excitement of the game, and I remember him from that. Exhausted. There's another one of those agendas that has a time on it. Chase Edmonds. Another directive there. This one, as an example, your analysts with intel of 3 or greater get adept, which is a good keyword to have. Armored van, this is all looking familiar. Elizabeth Nash is a new one, I think. Temporary containment. Darren McCarthy, taken into custody. Another, going out with a bang. After a mission attempt is declared, cancel the mission attempt. A good foil against your opponent. Kevin Graves, I remember that character. He was dirty. He's no good. And this one, he's on the CTU. You can tell by the border there that he's blue. But and here's a spoiler alert, skip ahead a few seconds, but I noticed that Nina is in this, and she has a card where she's a CTU agent, and she has a card where she's the infiltrator, the conspiracy side, which is kind of funny. I remember watching this show, and I had never really been interested in it until a friend, and it had been out for a while, and a friend at work had the DVD sets and said, "Oh, David, you would love this show if you watch this show." I'm like, I don't know. But she said, "I'm going to bring the DVDs in. I'm all done. I'm going to bring the DVDs in and you watch it. And I guarantee you're going to like it." So I was like, all right, fine. So I put some dinner together and started watching the show. And I was hooked from the first few minutes when Jack shoots his boss with the tranquilizer, something I'm sure all of us have fantasized about. But I was immediately hooked. I started watching at like 5 in the afternoon or 6 in the evening or something like that, and ended up binging the entire season because I was so hooked on that. And I remember she had given me several of the box sets. I got as far as I could. I actually stayed up the entire night binging the show right up until 7 o'clock when I needed to leave, and all I did was just change my shirt from the day before and go right into work. And I remember when, again, spoiler alert, when Nina was exposed as the mole in CTU, I remember just shouting her name, like, "Nina, no!" She was one of my favorite characters, so that was funny. And I ended up begging my coworker to bring the rest of the DVD collection in so I could keep watching more and more, and ended up binging the show in just a couple of days. There's Dale Spalding. Another directive there to help out. Let's look at this one. Play during the main phase. Cost is 0, but you have to sacrifice a terrorist, which means you just take them out of play and put them in your discard pile. Play a character, reduce his cost by 1. Not too bad. So you trade one for the other. I don't know how valuable that is. There's Alan Morgan. Ooh, Air Force One. And look, it's the black border. This is an elite card, an ultra rare. So that's great. Air Force One. Play. Its keywords here are unique and vehicle. Unique means you can only have one in your deck. Play only a president or vice president. As an additional cost to block this character, your opponent must set a character. So it costs a little bit. I'm going to set that to the side. It costs your opponent a little bit to stop your president from doing something. Spencer Wolf. And not only is it elite, it's prismatic, which doesn't come through. There it comes through on the camera a little bit. So that's kind of cool. Switch, another one featuring Kim Bauer. Another directive. Reed Pollock. Quarantine, another strategy that's prominent in the X-Files CCG. Let's see what this one does. Costs 1, play during your mission phase. Target defending analyst gets +2 intel. Interesting. You would think with a quarantine that would be some kind of foil or detriment to your opponent, but there it is. And there's Behind in the Polls again. Not even halfway through, so we've got quite a few cards here. In the line of duty, this doesn't look good for your opponent. Your defending character gets -1 skill if he's killed during the mission. Score 2 points. Well, it's not too bad. Points, getting up to 24 points is important. It's the win condition for this game. So you sacrifice someone, and again, strangely, with only having 24 cards in your deck, and once you go through it, you just reshuffle and put them back in. Not as big of a sacrifice as you might think, especially if you're toward the end of your your deck. Oh, there's my guy, George Mason, an elite, a second elite, almost back to back there. George Mason hates his job as an analyst. Makes me laugh every time. But there it is, elite black border and foil. So that's pretty awesome. One that I was hoping to get, and I got it. So that's exciting. Neil Choi, Jamie Farrell, Hostage Exchange. There's Police Cruiser again. Filibuster. These are all looking pretty familiar going into shock. Target wounded character gets -2 skill. -2 skill can be pretty rough, considering the skill numbers along with the health seem kind of low for the game. It's not hard to knock a character out, but again, you get them back another couple of turns. This is what happens when you keep your fingernails short. Gonna cheat. There we go. All right. Lynn Cressage, played by Michelle Forbes, a great actress, also in Star Trek: The Next Generation, from playing Ensign Ro, and also here in 24 and in Battlestar Galactica, another game I'm looking to play. Triangulation. What does this do? Locate 3 characters with intel. So you have to have a pretty. I was talking about the skills, and intel being one of the skills that you would base your deck around. This one, set target character with an equipment. Locate 3 characters with an intel. So you have to have 3 characters with an intel skill out on either in the briefing room or the field in order to play that. So definitely a good, if you've got an intel based deck, that's a good card to have. Walk and Chew Gum. When I was putting together the title screen for this, I was choosing cards that I thought would be cool to feature in the title card here, and put Oops, and here's this Walk and Chew Gum. I put Damn It in there. I was thinking this is starting to look a little satirical here, these funny names. So I changed out. I took Walk and Chew Gum out. Internal Bleeding. What does this have? Requires 1 agent or 1 infiltrator wound each wounded character. Yikes. So if you have a character out there that's got 2 health and someone plays that, that's going to knock them out already. There's Jack Bauer. Several different Jack Bauers in this set, and so what sets them aside is the subtitle there, this one called Back and Play. Shredding Program, there's Switch again. House for Pay. What is this? Is this another? No, that's in Quarantine. When you see some of these and you Yoast, I'm noticing this one just now here. It's weird you only get to pick 24 cards for your deck. Yeah, it seems like they took the 24 and really kind of took the theme there almost a little too seriously. That's why I was wondering if after I play a few games, if you can kind of work it so that you can have more than just 24 cards, if that would upset the balance. But we'll see how it goes here. So we are running out of time. Another very thematic one there. David Gomez, Stealing the Playbook, another directive there. Gail Ortega, stuck together there, Disarmed. What does this say? Play during your mission, cost 0. Locate a character in the mission with a weapon. So you have to have someone in play who is equipped with a weapon. Destroy target equipment on an opposing character. So not too bad if your opponent is carrying a gun or has some other piece that's enhancing their skill. You can knock that out. There's Aisha Tyler. She showed up in the show another one. She's a great actress. I'll bring that one back up if you don't recognize her. Aisha Tyler, the voice actor for one of my favorite shows, Archer. But she's the host for Whose Line Is It Anyway? She's in 24. She's everywhere. I couldn't possibly begin to start listing everything. Oh, there's one for you, Yost. Human Shield. In this game, it costs 1. It's got the tactics keyword there, and target defending terrorist gets +2 combat. Not bad. So, Yost, that one's for you. I'm going to set that one aside. Trauma Care. Zhao Yung. Dumpster diving, my favorite thing here. Ops keyword costs 1. Play during your main phase. Place target ops event in your discard pile on the top of your deck. Oh, that's not too bad. Harry Swinton and off-road vehicle. Boy, great screen capture there, guys. You can't see a thing, but whatever this tail light is, I believe that's the Jeep. In the first season, they used that when they picked up the lady out in the desert, and she had that flash drive that everyone was looking for, and all the credentials and stuff. But yeah, in the dark, so not the best choice for a screen grab there. But what are you going to do? I've learned by researching Battlestar Galactica that the studio, you go through that game and some of the first cards, and the story is, and I learned this from Chuck Kallenbach in an interview on the Booster Pack, a really great podcast. He said that the studio had limited the screenshots and photos that they could use, so it was mostly promo shots and shots that weren't very good, things that were either too dark or obviously not necessarily from the show and didn't depict the action or anything like that. And that's not because they made poor choices, but because they were very limited. The studio limited what they could get done, and so they printed those cards up and went back to students and said, "Hey, this is no good." And unfortunately, that card game was canceled after the base set and one expansion, so that's too bad. And draw just another face. What was the rare card that was in there? I didn't get a. It's not a parallel or prismatic, unfortunately, but I'm sure collation there made it a rare. Getting close to the end here. Not as many packs as we normally get in a box, but the packs have 12 cards each in them. Tom Lennox. This guy was a goof in the show, if I remember correctly. Complete Schematics. John Keeler. Adam Kaufman. Firewall Bypass. What is that? Target character gets +2 intel. Another good one for an intel-themed deck. There's Kevin Carroll. Administrative Warrant. Target analyst gets +2 intel, so you can see where that's going. Johnson, Interrogator. While opposing character in a briefing room, Johnson gets lethal. That's a nice keyword to get. Cover up. Yikes. There's a screenshot for you. React, wound 2 infiltrators. After a mission attempt is declared, cancel the mission attempt. Yeah, I think we've seen that one earlier. Another directive there for you. Again, if you're having trouble seeing these cards, my camera isn't at the optimal position when I started here, but in the description is a link to CCGTrader.net. I think I said .com earlier, CCGTrader.net. And so you can go to 24 and see all the different cards there. We've got them all with pictures as well as the text. Assigned to research. Score 2 points. Wow. Discard an analyst. Well, that's not too hard to do. Randy Murdoch. Hand to hand. That guy's about to get his butt kicked. Cycling. Another one from that same episode or close to it. Screen grab. Not optimal. A little dark, but what are you going to do? There's Kim Bauer. Kind of a favorite from the first season. I liked her character in the first season, and then second season kind of nerfed her a little bit. I wasn't real happy about that. So when she comes back later as a CTU agent, it was kind of a difficult sell. I didn't quite buy it. But anyway, suicide mission. Yikes. Tactics. Keyword mission 0. Your target terrorist gets +2 combat. Sacrifice him after the end of the mission. Oops. Decent card. Curtis Manning. Set up a perimeter. Target defending agent gets +2 combat. So you can see how these different event cards support the different decks and the themes. There's Hairlift again. Getting down to the end, I've got 6 left. So we'll see what we can get. I was very lucky very early in getting 2 elite cards, ultra rare with the black border and prismatic. So I can't be too greedy, but hey, one can always hope. There's Milo. Flare gun. Guy getting blasted in the chest with a flare gun. Characters opposing this character get adapt. Add a keyword there to help you out. Dina Arnaud. Positive ID. There's another agenda you can see has 0, 1, and 2. So it takes 2 turns to activate that. Kind of fun. Gives your opponent some time to maybe find a character or a card that could negate that. So you're kind of sweating it out, hoping that that agenda is going to last long enough to be able to activate it. New information. Another target infiltrator gets +2 intel. Not bad. Decoy. We've seen that one. Sherry Rothberg. New opportunity. Overconfidence. Pressure. James Prescott. Roger Stanton. NSA chief. Remember that guy. Good actor. See him in a lot of stuff as well. Come on, little buddy. Yost, I hope you're still out there. There is a going back to the X-Files, getting a little off theme, but going back to the X-Files, everyone in our group here is starting to make custom cards for themselves, portraying them as an agent in the game. This might be kind of a fun one to do the same thing. Make yourself a CTU agent or even an infiltrator, one of the conspiracy guys, an opportunity you wouldn't have in the X-Files. You're locked into being a good guy, but in this one, you could make yourself one of the bad guys. That might be kind of fun. Seize Ontario Airport, another agenda with 2 on the clock. Charles McLemore. Dying Not Crazy. Michael Armador. There's Marianne Taylor. Aisha Tyler again. Human Shield, another one for you there, Yost. If you want, I can send that to you. So maybe you can start a Human Shield collection. Trauma Care. I say that because he is creating a custom card called Human Shield for the X-Files. We thought that was kind of funny. Dumpster Diving again. Harry Swinton, Field Support, and Off-Road Vehicle. Play only on a character with a printed health of 1. It gets you +1 health. Interesting. All right, down to the final 4. Let's see what we have going on here. Reed Pollock. Resisting Interrogation. Mike Novak. Mike Novak cannot be targeted by intrigue events. That could be helpful. Sherry Palmer. I think she's, yeah, she might be another one that has a dual card, both as a CTU agent and as a conspirator being manipulated. There's Behind in the Polls. We know that one. Armored Van. This character gets +2 skill when defending. When it refers to just skill, that means you can apply it to intel, politics, or combat. So that's a nice card that gets you +2. Other equipment, they're more specific and give you a modifier to a specific skill. Can only be used on intel or politics. Otherwise, it doesn't help you. So that's a nice all-around card. That'll probably end up being a card that you have in every deck or most decks. Again, you got to be kind of thrifty with your deck building since you only get 24. Going out with a bang. After a mission is attempted, declared, cancel that mission attempt. Only 3 left. Let's see what we have here. Damaged chip. Play only on an analyst. Play during the main turn. Sacrifice. Draw 2 cards. Oh, again, access to your deck. I mentioned that earlier, so I'm going to set that one aside because I definitely want to keep that close. Drawing cards will definitely help, or even if you're not necessarily looking for a card, help you get closer to recycling your deck so you can find the card that you need. Wendy Brown. Sensing danger. Locked out. Kevin Graves again. Plausible deniability. There's Nina. It's a conspiracy or infiltrator card for Nina. Whenever Nina Myers resets, discard 1 card. Some of these have very interesting effects. Some are a little detrimental, but you can see she's pretty valuable. She's got combat 5, which is pretty high, and 2 health, so she can take a couple hits before she goes out. So that maybe you'll find that worth it. And the reference to whenever Nina Myers resets, that refers to the beginning of your turn when you take all of your set cards that are turned to the side and turn them to the ready position. So you would have to discard a card whenever you turn her back to the ready position at the end of your turn. Just conspiring. Go another directive. Find the nuke. Reduce the cost of your items played on your analysts by 1. Oh, that's another analyst card. Adam Kaufman. Paula's Courage. And Mandy. Whew, she is vicious. She's a tough one. Let's read her. Wounded characters cannot block Mandy. Interesting. Good 1-2 punch if you use one character to do a mission and wound somebody. You can use Mandy in a more aggressive stance as an attacker, and she can't be blocked. So that will be kind of nice. Lee Castle. Getting an answer. Another directive there. CTU network access. What does this do? Your infiltrators can support unopposed missions. I don't know how often an unopposed mission might come up. So, motorcade. Oh, here's a double whammy. Awesome. Jack Bauer. Subtitle is Taking Chances. This is a rare. It's a foil, nice prismatic. So that's awesome to have that Jack Bauer card. Jack Bauer cannot defend. Oh, I'll set that aside. Oh, there's Nina again. I was just talking about her. Now I end up getting 2. Conspiring. Adam Kaufman. Same directive there, finding the nuke. Paula's Courage. There's Mandy again. And Disarmed. Last one here. Going to wrap it up. Or unwrap it, as the case may be. Nah. Okay. It's the last one. I'm not going to keep you in suspense here. I'm just going to use the handy knife. open this up. Come on, Elite. Let's see what happens in this final pack. Jonathan Wallace, Advanced Degree. David Palmer, he was another favorite of mine. Play during the main phase, cost 1. David Palmer gets target character's traits until the end of the turn. He's already Politics 4, so you could, aside from being a president, you could also get some valuable traits. Tom Lennox, Administrative Warrant. Johnson, Cover Up. A lot of these ones I already have here. Clean Administration. Main 0, lose 2 points. If all your characters are statesmen, gain 1 time. Well, that's not too bad. Get you a little extra move during your turn. Wolf Cummings, Airtight Alibi, target defending infiltrator gets +2 intel. And the final card, Incriminating Evidence. Play only on a conspirator or statesman. React 0. After this character wins a mission, your opponent loses 1 point. Not bad. We'll foil at the end. Well, that's all of them. A lot of cards, actually. That's a pretty big stack. This afternoon, I'll probably be making some custom dividers for it. And I did get some great cards, some ones that I was specifically looking for. This Jack Bauer is kind of a fun one to have just because it's prismatic. And the basic training set comes with a foil Jack Bauer too, so that's kind of neat. Damaged Chip, this helps draw 2 cards, so that's pretty valuable for me. Human Shield, that's kind of a funny one to have. George Mason, this is one that I was looking for. Not only because I like him while in the field, George Mason's intel is equal to the number of characters in your briefing room. So that's kind of a neat one. You can see his skill there has an asterisk. So if you're building another intel deck, you can use that. Here's that elite card, Air Force One. Opponent loses 1 time. That's helpful. Your opponent loses 2 times. 3 of those. So yeah, that'll help kind of foil my opponent there and keep them from making any moves. Thanks for watching this. There's more content, more 24, the trading card game content to come. I'm very excited about this game. If you're looking to play, I'm out there. Definitely would love to play the game with you and see if we can find out more about it. See what's going on with unpublished expansions. Talk to some of the creators and hopefully flesh it out a little more. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you very soon. Thank you very much. Oh, and of course, always make sure to like the video, subscribe. Any kind of questions or comments you want to make, throw them out there. Would love to answer your questions for you. And hopefully getting some more cards very soon. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much.